Welcome back to the Fearless Studio at the Fearless Summit 2024. And oh my gosh, I'm sitting next to a woman who I've known for a number of years and who I'm really, really fond of, all the way from Diani, is the former campus pastor of Mavuno Church Diani, Pastor Irene Bogonko. Karibu.
Thank you, Joanne. How are you?
I'm great.
Yes.
I'm great, and I'm really happy that you're
By
here.
the way, she didn't mention, she was my Mizizi facilitator.
I know. And you are young, you are shy, and you liked to dance. And then here you are taking over the world through Mavuno Church Diani. And I'm going to ask you, because I sat in admiration, I forget when it was, I think a previous Mavuno gathering, as you were speaking about how prayer became so pivotal in Mavuno Church Diani, and how when you began to bring your people together in prayer, things completely changed.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Transformation began to happen when I decided that because this is spiritual, we have to tackle it the spiritual way. So I gathered all the Christians and my management team. They're all Christians. They're all church planters in Mavuno Diani, by the way. So we set up a system where we said every single day we come, we have to pray for a department. And we started doing that for every single day. We would pray for a department. We'd gather all the Christians around. We were about 20 at that time. And we would speak and preach. Every time we would speak to the Muslims, we would tell them about just the kingdoms and principles of working and impacting them with inspiration, showing them that you can also get where we are if you apply these principles. And then that's how the transformation
began to happen.
And our bosses, the directors started seeing the changes, and they were like really impressed, and they saw that there was something different that was happening.
Wow.
First of all, what I didn't even realize is that prayer is actually a discipleship tool. For me, when I was in Diani, without resources and everything, and God showed me the power of prayer, I decided to, first of all, start with 7 ladies, and we started praying together. And I can tell you that became like a fire. It was even better than Mizizi. Because what Mizizi did is it taught people how to be Christians and what God is all about. But then the prayer is when they started seeing the power. Because it's one thing to know who God is, and it's another to experience the power of God.
Wow.
So that one, they were like, okay, so this thing is real.
Yeah.
And now they became planted. Because now they are seeing miracles happening in their lives.
Yeah.
They're seeing their lives being changed. And they're like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's another testimony of a lady who had lost her husband 5 years ago. And she had lost the meaning of Christianity because they were serving in church back in the days. And she was like, I don't think this God is real. Yeah. And when we started doing the covenant fasting, she began to start healing. And she found her healing. And when we started, we're praying for husbands, but the Lord changed it into something totally different.
Yeah.
She found healing, and she was able to come back to church. She's now serving as the Mavuno pastor, kids pastor in Mavuno Diani.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny because we're Christians, we pray.
Yes.
But then there's a way you put it together, and you brought these people with a very razor sharp focus of this is how we're doing it, this is when we're doing it. And then you just began to see the rules and the do's and the don'ts. And then we just began to see things being unlocked, just because people have come together. Can two walk together unless they agree?
Yes.
And I feel like Mavuno Diani really modeled that for the movement, and how prayer is a centerpiece for growth for the movement. Yeah. But Pastor Irene, I'm curious to know, because I've known you for a while. You were leading Mavuno Church Diani as a woman. How was that like for you?
Wow. It's so funny because you pray for God to bring you a husband, and then you're not there.
So you're a single woman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have a congregation, obviously, that has men, that has women, that has married women, that has mothers.
Children. Yes. Yes. So that was very difficult, I can tell you for sure.
Yeah.
And I think my weapon was the prayer. Because when we prayed and things started happening, people were like, okay, so God is not choosing. I don't have to be married. I don't have to have a child for me to pray for a child to get healed, or for me to pray for marriage to be healed. So that became you know, when we were talking about the unlikely candidate, and I now understand why God chooses unlikely candidate, because He wants to show you that at the end of the day, it was His power. Because imagine if I had everything working for me, it would be like, you know, it's because I have this and this and that. But
True.
God had to strip it all down so that everybody can see this can only be the power of God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Candidate
you
number
don't take
one.
the
Unlikely
glory.
candidate number one.
Yes.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Pastor Irene, we are smack in the middle of Fearless Summit 2024, and our theme this year is unshakable. We are on day 2. We are halfway through the day. What have you heard? What have you resonated with so far?
I've resonated with Pastor more today because he's the one who's just preached right now. And the reason I resonated is because he was talking about the financial mindset and how do you build a movement, momentum. And he talked about you generating money for your own community. And I remember when we were setting up Mavuno Diani, it started in my home. And I was really putting pressure on Pastor M. I'm like, send money from Hill City. Send the money. And he told me, this is not how you grow a movement. But I didn't get it. I was like, why? Why do I have to use my resources? But today, as Pastor Apmo was speaking about, you needing money to be sent will actually kill the movement. By you teaching your team to be resourceful, to find a trade and be good at it, I think that has just turned on the light bulb for me. And I'm thinking, even for my next season, my next assignment, that will be something that I will really work on in terms of teaching. Find a trade, be good at it, and support the movement.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So that has been unlocked in your mind. I wonder what has been unlocked in your mind as you watch us. Please let us know. This has been the Fearless Summit Studio with Pastor Irene Bogonko.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.